everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stay Creative York County. My name is Sarah. Today we are going to be making a stamped and sewn felt envelope. So this piece of felt is actually a white piece of felt that I put a stamped pattern onto and then used it to create an envelope. You don't have to create an envelope with the stamped material, but that's up to you. So let's see what we need for this project. The first thing you are going to need to be able to make this is going to be felt. You can use any color, but these are the ones that I had on hand. You are also going to want some embroidery thread. I choose this variegated one. With the thread, you'll need a needle. I'll be using this one since it's safely secured. To be able to stamp, you will need a stamp pad. So I have a black one here. You could use any color of ink. And I also have a pre-made stamp. This one has my first initial. But I am also going to be using some styrofoam from a recycled dinner plate to create my own stamp. Additionally, you may want some scissors to be able to cut your felt, your string, and your styrofoam. And it's always good to have a writing utensil on hand, so I have a Sharpie. And that is all. So that's all you need for this project. Go grab your materials and let's get into the video. I decided in the beginning that I also needed my fabric scissors, so if you have those, go ahead and grab them. I decided to work with the white felt because I had a black ink pad. The design of the envelope is going to be a rectangle shape with a triangle shape on top. I decided to cut the felt piece down the middle and then started folding it to find out where I wanted the crease to be for the bottom of the envelope and where I wanted the top flap to start. When I put them together, I was able to trim the sides so that they matched. And I cut a diagonal cut in the triangle and then continued that on the other side. And there we have it. It kind of looks like a little house when you have it folded. So now when you are going to be printing on it, you need to decide what you want on the outside of the envelope. I decided that I wanted this crest on the top and I wanted it to be on the point of the triangular flap. I patted it softly on top and pressed it into the fabric. I then tried to decide if I wanted to re-stamp it to make it darker. If you do this, just make sure that you can line up your stamp because it may take some time and it may not be completely perfect. But after the second stamp, I liked it like it was. And now I pulled out the styrofoam to decide what pattern I wanted on the rest of my fabric. I decided that I wanted some polka dots, so I drew a small circle and a larger circle. I cut those out of the styrofoam. Now, because these don't have a handle, what I decided to do was get some double-sided tape and put a small piece of it on one side. That way I could pick it up with my finger, sticking to the tape, and pat it onto the fabric. So now I have the circle on my finger. I'm gonna pat it into the ink pad and start to stamp. You can, of course, draw whatever shape you want to in the styrofoam, but what is going to show up best is going to be large geometric shapes. Fine detail might not show unless it's something that you can ink up and press into the fabric. So keep that in mind when you're designing. So I decided to cut the larger circle down into a triangular shape and put that onto the fabric as well. I would really like to try this out with different inks and different colors. So now we're gonna let it dry and clean up. And now we're gonna get into sewing. We're going to take our embroidery thread or yarn, get a needle that is the appropriate size for the yarn or the thread. I got a piece that was about arm's length from fingertip to fingertip. I am going to start by going into the fabric from the inside of the envelope, and then on this side I'm going to do a triple knot so that it is secure. Once I get that knot made and the thread is secure, I'm going to fold my envelope and start to do a whip stitch on the outside by going back to front and arranging that stitch on the outside, and then again from the back to the front so that it creates a whip stitch on the outside. When you go up and start to reach the actual flap, you will just do a regular running stitch. So you will go from front to back of the fabric, move up as far as you would like, and go back to front. So you're kind of weaving in and out. This will create more of a line that follows the shape of the flap. Of course, you're gonna run into tangles and snags, so be patient and take your time. I have chosen a thread that is not a color that is included in my fabric, but do consider what color you want the thread to be. It could be something that matches the fabric and therefore won't really be noticeable, or it could be something that is a totally different color. You could also explore different kinds of stitches. The whip stitch has a different look from others, so find out what works for you. When you reach the end of the flap and start on the other side, you will do a whip stitch on this side as well. When you're doing the whip stitch and pulling it through, you may want to make sure that the thread is in the right direction. Once you reach the end and pull your last whip stitch through, you're going to go through the fabric in the bottom and into the inside of the envelope. Carefully reach your hand into the envelope to pick the needle up and pull it through the bag. Once you pull that through, use your scissors to clip the thread and do a knot on the inside of the envelope to the best of your ability. Once that is done, snip it and you have your envelope ready to go. I'm going to put this little present in and give it to a friend. I think he likes it. And there we have it, a personalized piece of fabric that we use to create a hand-sewn envelope. This could be used for giving small gifts. And like I said, you don't have to use it for just this. You could use your felt to create felt ornaments or anything you can think of that you can make with fabric. So friends, that is the end of our episode today. I am going to link the Creative Bug video that inspired this in the description below, so you can check that out if you're interested. They create these envelopes specifically for Valentine's Day, so if you're looking for something to give to a loved one, please check it out. But until next time, remember to stay safe and stay creative, York County.